is abundance in a universe. And we all have the ability to tap into our deepest dreams. You can learn and grow at your own speed and build a business based on your own needs. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family. Why do we wait until tomorrow when we could do it today? Step out of your comfort zone and take a leap of faith. You can learn and grow at your own speed and build a business based on your own needs. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family. Bedrock bookkeepers rock it from their home. Bedrock bookkeepers make it on their own. Bedrock bookkeepers living in the zone. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family.
Magandang araw po sa lahat. Ako si Malana, and I working as an online accountant and bookkeeper for almost 2 years. I was part of this batch 2 of the 13-week course for accountants and tax preparers. So that was around August last year. And then I have this client which I got from Upwork. The client has a huge problem on her books. So I think of Bedrock. I think of Joe because I know very well that Joe is really genuine and sincere in helping small business owners in the US. So what I did is I told my client to book a call with Joe so that she can directly communicate with Joe and mention about her business, not only cleaning up her books, but Joe can also help her in organizing her financials. For me, Bedrock Partnership Program, in one word, it's more on learning. Since I am part of the partnership program, so I learn a lot from Joe directly because we are working on the same client. So working with Joe means lots of learnings about US accounting, about US taxation. So it's learning. from August up to now, I continue to learn so many things from Joe because we are working on the same books. So that means that I learn so many practical things from him. So that's actually one of the precious and most valuable thing that I benefit from Bedrock. I can't believe actually that Joe is mentioning to me that, okay, Malona, let us have a call. So I told myself, what? A free call with him around 30 minutes, 1 hour, or more than 1 hour. So imagine, saan ka makakita ng US accountant na magbibigay sa'yo ng ganun kahabang oras, tapos ganun ka-valuable, yung pinagkukwentuhan nyo, ganun ka-valuable, yung tinuturo niya sa'yo. That is the most precious and valuable thing that I learned from Joe. Humility, and at the same time, the learnings that no one can ever get that from me. You have to get this chance to be partner of Bedrock because not only the monetary amount that we receive from affiliate fees, but also the learnings that we can get being a Bedrock partner. So that is my message to all the online accountants and bookkeepers or students of Bedrock. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, especially Joe, for an incredible US payroll masterclass. What stood out to me wasn't just a technical know how, but Joe's real life insights and advice. It's been both motivating and inspiring, truly a game changer for me. His experiences actually brought the lessons to life, making the complex seem simple. So, cheers to what we've learned and to where we're headed, armed with knowledge and inspiration. Thank you.
I'm so happy. I'm grateful to be part of this masterclass. I'm grateful for the Bedrock team and especially to Joe for supporting us Filipinos to undergo this kind of training and giving us this opportunity. This is a this is a big deal for me because I'm already I'm employed for how many years already, and I want to pursue what my passion is. And doing this, I try to make this payroll as a great niche for me, and to discover this great opportunity, also explore. Thank you so much, Bedrock, and I know this is a lifetime support from you. Thank you so much, Joe.
I've enrolled in tax preparation before, so I was there at the second jump start, and I think Joe and the Bedrock team, I have learned a lot, and I was recently hired as an email assistant in an accounting firm. So I was the assistant of the owner of the accounting team, and I encountered payroll questions, and here in the payroll course, the information provided was incredibly helpful. I learned a lot, and I thank everyone for that.
First of all, I am so pleasure to be part of Bedrock. I didn't expect that I would be able to finish it because of the time. That is the most thing that hinder me to finish everything. But thank you very much for Miss Eileen for helping me to pursue it. And I do believe in Bedrock, I learn more and upscale my knowledge. Although I've been doing accounting since I graduated here in the Philippines, I believe that having learning a new knowledge, especially from other countries, is a big opportunity for me. So um, I'm doing this not because I would like to earn more. Uh, Presently, I am comfortable already, and but I know, I know that if I learn something, I will gain more.
I'm undergraduate college student, and my course is accountancy. I have frustration because here in the Philippines, when you are not graduate, you don't have chance to uh, work in an accounting firm. So my frustration, when I watch the video about the tax agent, when I join in a accounting people's group, I said uh I said to myself that I can do it even though I'm not graduate in accounting. I can improve myself po kahit even though po na hindi ako graduate ng accounting here in the Philippines. And I said to myself po na kaya ko to kahit na international yung accounting na pag-aaralan ko. Then when I was in college, kasi I know nung time na yun na hindi ako makaka-graduate because of financial. Then tumatak sa isip ko na okay, meron pang pag-asa, not here in the Philippines. But kahit nandito ako sa Philippines, I can work in US, I said to myself. Then, noon, I always, I always checking my online job. Nag, nag-rate ako online job way back 2014 na sa platform na yun. But hindi ako nag-apply kasi I know na I'm not yet skilled. And then nung sabi ko, I always praying na, Lord, kapag nagka-family ako, okay lang po ba na I can work from home kasi I don't want to raise my child ng malayo sa kanya. And then after ko manganak, I got job na tumulong sa akin yung best friend ko nung college na naipasok niya ako sa international accounting din siya, but through her po, tinanggap ako kahit hindi ako graduate. And then, sabi ko, ito na yung start na pwede ko na i-upskill yung sarili ko. And then, I tried din po na mag-apply online job na kasi meron na akong konting confidence na mag-bookkeeping. And then, nakakuha ako, nagulat ako kasi ang mga nakikita kong testimony sa Facebook na more months or years sila bago sila nakakuha ng client. Then nagulat po ako, nakuha ko months pa lang. And nung time na yun, struggling din po ako pero nakuha ko yung client na yun. Then sobrang thankful ko habang sobrang tinreasure ko yung client na yun kahit low rate lang siya kasi gusto ko talaga magkaroon ng experience. Then sabi ko, meron na akong budget to enroll. Akala ko hindi ko siya makakompleto kasi dumating yung year end doon kung saan ako nag-work. Sobrang tight ng schedule. Sobrang hindi ko alam kung yung pagod ko kasi syempre puyatan sa work tapos meron pa tayong training. Yun nga, nana ko pa rin na makahabol ako sa mga assignments kahit na late na yung mga iba kong submit. Then yun, thankful ako nung last na video call with Miss Ice, sinabi niya sa akin ko na pwede pang makahabol nga yung kay Miss Juliet. Hindi ako nawalan ng pag-asa nung sabi ko makaka-graduate din ako dito. Then ayun nga, na nakasama ako sa graduation. Thank you. Thanks, Joe, for your courses. Sobrang helpful po talaga para sa amin na gusto mag-upskills and sa mga beginners po na katulad po. Thank you very much, Joe. And
Good morning, everyone. Hello, Mr.
I
Broughton.
joined the Bedrock because of the opportunity.
Hello, Joe.
And because I'm a nurse and a pharmacist, I really don't have an accounting background. I just took bookkeeping. And then when I saw that
Okay, who's
Bedrock
running
is
the show
offering,
today?
to become a tax
Me.
preparer,
Let's start at
I've been
9:05.
searching on
Let's give it to other
another
members
platform
to
where
join
Okay.
us.
took their
Sounds good.
certificate from Bedrock. So I googled it, and then
2 days before the start of the class, I joined immediately without thinking because I want to earn and I want to learn more. And this is an opportunity for me, and I am actually looking forward to learn more from Bedrock. So I will be enrolling into other courses because I also want to be a part of Bedrock.
I just want to express my deepest gratitude to Bedrock team for the knowledge, for the guidance and support you have provided us throughout the payroll course. Um, as someone who has no background in accounting, I really had a hard time, but the way you made the topics accessible and engaging, and you always ensure that we understood the material thoroughly. The knowledge that I've gained from this course is not only theoretical but also practical. I am especially thankful for your patience and encouragement, Joe, which have motivated me to strive for excellence.
This course is not a walk in the park. It needs true dedication and the resolve to finish it and see it through. So I had to muster all courage. And it is a milestone, and I am very proud of what we have accomplished. It's not really easy, but you can see that before I thought that I will not be able to do this. I thought this is a very hard work. I thank Joe for opening this opportunity to us Filipinos. All of us will become successful, of course, with God's help, and I congratulate you all also.
I just want to thank you, Joe, and everyone. So thank you so much for the opportunity, the hustle while doing it, the
Okay,
researching,
Wiz Eileen, do we have the
the
grab
headache
video that you play?
while we plot the Excel file, the Google Sheet. It was all worth it, knowing that I got the certification and I also graduated in this batch. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the tax course, the upcoming tax course. Yeah, more headaches and more problems to come. Thank you so much, guys.
One of the things I've learned is to be resourceful and be confident even if you don't know, research and ask questions. Thank you for Joe and the Bedrock team for really opening this course to us. It's a great opportunity for us to learn and get like a hands-on experience to do payroll tasks in a US setting.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, Jump Starter. So, how are you today? Thank you so much for those of you who's here and able to wake up early. And of course, our speaker for today is, of course, Mr. Larry Broughton. But before that, I would like to ask, who among you attend last week's session? We teach, I take the optimization of the profile from online jobs and your LinkedIn. So who is the perfect attendance awarding for best in attendance? Maybe we should have an award like that, right? Yeah, on December. Okay. So again, I think this is
We do have an award. We do have an award like that.
yeah, last time, right? Last
Yeah,
jumpstart.
we have a couple of awards.
Yeah, guys, I do have a favor. So if I were you, you can share this link to everyone who do you think will benefit on this topic, because this is the most commonly asked question, even if you're a newbie or already 3 years in freelancing, and even if you will put up your business, how do you do your pricing? So although I just give you a recap, last time Nick Sinclair also mentioned that, but Nick Sinclair told us to charge premium if you're able to have your skills and expertise and upskill. So let's hear from Larry Bruton what his takeaways and sharing his expertise once again to us. Take it away, Mr. Bruton.
Thank you very much, Coach. Hello, Joe. How are you? It's good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me back. Hey, we've got 21 people on the call right now. I'm going to share my screen. But as I'm doing that, how many people were with me? I don't know when it was, a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was, when I did a presentation on uh, learning English or improving your English proficiency in the workplace. How many people participated in that? Because guess what I'm going to ask you? I don't know if you remember, but I'd given a little bit of homework. Oh, by the way, let me go back. If you've got your phone out and you want to reach out to me and you have a question on this presentation I'm about to do, or if you just want to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram, it's been fun because some of you have done this already. And that's the way to do it. If you just go to use that QR code, you're going to find a link tree, and there's all kinds of ways to get a hold of me. And there's recent articles I've written and that kind of thing. So that's your opportunity. But when I was here, when was that, Joe? Was that a month ago or 3 weeks ago? I don't remember now, but life can be a blur sometimes. We talked about building confidence speaking English, and I given you a challenge to do a few things. I see some of you looking away already, like, uh-oh, I didn't do those things. It's not too late. I'm going to encourage you still, because this is one of those things that Coach Yan was just talking about. One way to increase your pricing is to have a skill set that your competitors don't have, right? And so if your English is better than most people, then guess what? You can charge more. And one way to do that is just do a few simple things like watch one English language cartoon each week. Watch one TED Talk in English per week and summarize it. Practice explaining a complex accounting concept in simple English. Keep a journal of new business English terms that you learn. And does anyone remember, and you can put it in the chat or just scream it out if you want, what was the number of hours that I had talked about that will make you 90% better than anyone else in the world at a specific task? Does anyone remember what that rule was? Or how many, there you go, there's Joe, yep. And the number of minutes a day you should study, right? It's 100 hours. Once you do something for 100 hours, you're going to be better than the rest of the world, or 90% of the rest of the world, okay? So it's not that big of a commitment. So if you break those 100 hours down into, daily minutes, it's not going to take long for you to get there. All right, I'm going to leave that, okay? Because what we want to talk about today is something else, and that's this: pricing your services, how to charge what you're worth. All right, there's a problem right there. Because our real human value is priceless, right? So how can you put a price on someone? But we can't put a price on what we offer, right? So my hope is this, that that we have 4 key takeaways from what I'm about to present to you in the next 20 or 30 minutes here. But I want you to think about what I'm going to share with you, not just for your own services or your own business, but that for your client as well. Okay? Savvy business owners will go talk to their accountant and their CPA before they develop their own pricing strategy. Right? Because you guys should be looked at as trusted advisors. Okay? So think about this, not just for you, but for your clients. Okay? And so my hope here is this: that you have 4 key takeaways. The first thing is price like a pro. Like when you're struggling with service pricing, start by balancing the market rates, the competition, and your worth. Okay, remember, your time is gold, so charge like. And again, this is very quickly, and then we're going to go into greater detail here in a second. But you have to know your worth, and this is where confidence is key. Okay, you have to be comfortable with your skill set. You have to show a level of comfort with your clients, or your potential clients will sense it. Okay, so you have to stand firm on your pricing. The next thing is what I call flex your strategy, whether it's hourly rate or you're charging flat fees. Pick a pricing strategy that suits your business and keeps those profits rolling in. And don't be afraid to mix and match. Don't be afraid to shift course when things aren't working. Okay. And then finally, sweeten the deal. Think beyond price. Let me say it again. Think beyond price. Add value with loyalty programs, incentives, payment plans, referral discounts to keep your clients coming back for more. Okay. So yes, we're going to talk about pricing strategy. It's a tough topic for some folks. I get it. At some point, we've all asked ourselves this, right? This is why I'm doing this call. How much should I charge for my services? Well, the reality is, in most cases, the answer is a big question mark. Truly, it is. Okay. Our prices can be too high or too low, but we need to figure this out. They really can't be too high and they can't be too low. If they're too high, what happens? No one ever bites. If they're too low, we lose money, right? Unfortunately, I know you wish that I had this for you. I know, but unfortunately, there is no magic pricing formula that's going to work for every person. Boy, would it be a lifesaver, for most business owners if there were, but there's not. So what's the key? Well, the key is finding the right balance as you determine your pricing. But that's not simple either. But guess what? That's why I'm here. I'm here to walk you through those steps. Okay. And so if you've ever wondered, what do I do for my price? I don't know what to do. Don't worry about it. We've all been there. We all go through this. Joe and I talk about pricing strategies for his clients, Jumpstart, on a pretty regular basis, right? We just have to be cognizant. This is why when you walk into a store, one day you pay one price, another day you pay another. One day you walk into a nail salon or a spa, different prices. Okay. There's also another thing that we're going to have to do that we need to consider for you, and this is the price for services. Okay, price for services is which most of you offer. They're never set in stone. Okay, you're always in control. You can make changes when you need to. Okay, so let's get started here and make sure that we understand this. Now, it may seem obvious to you, but pricing a service is not the same as pricing a product. Okay, but there's a reason I want to dwell on this for a few seconds. Okay, yes, service businesses provide what? Services. Here's the thing. Services are intangible. You can't touch the services. That's what makes it difficult for small business owners to price their service. Okay. There's all this, what do I want to call this? Emotional clutter that comes with monetizing your services. It's like you're putting price on yourself, right? The truth is, as a service provider, you are. But we need to remember this. It's your discipline. It's your years of service. It's your years of study. It's your years of practice. That's what we're putting a price on. The amount of experience and struggle that you've had to put into your business is where the value comes in. Okay. This is the time that you need to plant your flag in the ground and say, this is how much my time cost. Okay. In some cases, think like doctors or dentists, there are these industry rate guidelines for pricing services, but often it's about the actual cost and it's about what the market can bear. Does that make sense? Okay. Before you start working on your pricing, we're going to get into some specific types of pricing you might use to price your services in just a moment. But before we do that, there are a few things that you have to consider, okay? The first thing is this. Number one, how scarce, how rare is the service that you're offering? There are some services like here in the United States, dog walking. Believe it or not, there are jobs, I don't know if they've got them in the Philippines, where people will pay someone else to go walk their dog for them, okay? Or there's house painting, or there's plumbing, right? Now, house painting and dog walking, those are relatively low barriers to entry. Almost anyone can start these kinds of businesses with very minimal investments. And there are no special qualifications for a dog walker, okay? There's no licenses required for them. On the other hand, a service that requires special training. Has anyone here gone through any kind of special training? We just saw these testimonials beforehand of people going through 13-week courses. Yes, there's special training. There's equipment. In some cases, there's licensing, right? like tax prep and accounting, enrolled agents, or one of these other required scarce skills like website development. These are much harder to start. So when there's less competition in your field, your skills that we're talking about here will probably be more in demand. And you'll be able to price your services higher with value-based pricing. Now, this might even apply if you're the only person offering a particular service in your area. Think about this where you folks live. Some of you might live remotely and you want to provide services to your area. Well, if there's no one else in your area, that's going to affect your pricing. If there's 50 of you within a 1-mile radius of where you live and you're all going after the same clients, that's going to impact your pricing. Does that make sense? Okay. This can add perceived value to your customers or clients when there's no one else around you, which means they may be willing to pay more. But as a general rule of thumb, the more options that your customers and your clients have to shop around, the more dialed in your pricing needs to be, right? And the lower your desired profit margin will probably be, okay? Can you guys hold on 1 second? My dog is whining and I want to tell him to be quiet. Sorry, I had to be firm. Okay. Next thing is this. What's everyone else charging? The next big question you need to answer is this one. Okay. Are there people charging for similar services in your area? You don't necessarily need to match their pricing, all right, if you're offering additional value, but this lets us gauge, this lets us figure out what the upper end and the lower end of those limits are going to be. This is where a competitive set analysis comes in. If you've never heard of a competitive set analysis, and even if you have, stay tuned, stick with me, because if you make it to the end with me, I may just have a few free tools to give you that's going to help you with setting your prices, okay? It's important to note that price alone should never dictate your pricing. Don't base it on price alone. The competition's charging this, that competitor's charging this, that competitor's charging this, and so I'm going to charge this. What oftentimes happens when you do that, then there becomes a price war, and it's usually down. People try to offer lower prices, and no one wins in the low price battle. You should not be the low price leader. That does not usually work. It cuts into your margin every single time. Okay. Number 3 is, what kind of service do you provide? The next thing you should think about is what kind of service it is. Specifically, is there a daily requirement? Now, again, I'm thinking about not just you as accountants and bookkeepers or enrolled agents. I'm also thinking about your clients who may come to you and say, hey, Joe, I've got this business and I just don't think we're making it here. Can you help me go through the pricing on like what I'm charging my clients? So if it's a daily requirement, let's think about this. Like, what would be like an auto repair? If someone needs their car to get around to do their job, or it's plumbing, which people need in their housing, to live inside their home, that pricing is going to be different. Okay. Or are you offering like a luxury service that people purchase simply because they want it? Like, what would be a luxury item? High-end nail salons, pedicures, manicures, spa services, beauty treatments, hiring an interior designer. Those are all luxury items. Okay. People who are buying luxury services might be willing to pay a little bit more for them just because they want that particular indulgence. Okay. While people who are looking for services that are a necessity, like I've got to get my car fixed, they may not have the money to spare at that moment. So price might be their primary consideration. Okay. Number 4, will you offer additional incentives? All right, for them to buy from you. This is number 4. If you think about whether you'll build in any kind of incentives into your services, this is the time to start thinking about it. People might pay considerably more for your service if they have the option to pay it off. Here's the key word: over time. You probably see this, right? People will take a large purchase item, but the business The service might say, well, you can pay this off over 6 months or 12 months. It makes it easier for people to purchase. And so that might actually help. And again, that's in your case, Joe, for instance, sometimes you have a client who has to do some forensic auditing or tax prep, right? And they've got years of taxes to file. That is a big ticket item, right? They may choose you if you say, well, I know it's going to cost, let's say it's a US company, it's going to cost $15,000. They may, oh my gosh, I don't have $15,000 sitting around. But you say, well, you can pay it off at $1,500 a month. They may bite on that, okay? Even if the price is much higher, if the installments are affordable, that will attract people. So if you're selling frequently used services, you might find that offering something like a loyalty card or a points program are a good incentive for you to buy. If you are a regular, if there's a ice cream shop that you go to regularly, or a coffee shop you go to regularly, or if you're somebody who flies frequently, what do they call them? Frequent flyer programs. You get points. Even on your credit card, the credit card companies try to incentivize you to use their credit card more often by doing what? Offering you points. Can you do that in your business? I know marketing people, I know accounting people who will offer a client a discount if they refer a certain number of clients to them. That's an incentive. Okay. Here are a couple others. Here's one. Let's say that you have you teach dance and you're offering dance lessons. Maybe you say on every 10th dance lesson, or every 10th volleyball session that you're teaching, you give a free session. Okay. This way you can encourage repeat business. This is why I'm saying it's not just about price, it's about the value that you offer. Okay. You might also be able to build in referrals into your business. I was talking about earlier, the referral model, right? By offering customers, or I try to use the word clients more often, by offering your clients a discount if they encourage friends and family members to sign up for your services. You could earn a little bit less per customer over the year, but it's a great way to build up your order book. Probably a good way to say it, with this word of mouth marketing. All of these extra considerations could affect your prices, the prices of your services. But while you think of them, let's get into the nuts and bolts of pricing services, because this next thing is something we have to consider when we're doing prices, particularly if you are going to be an agency owner, okay? Or you are helping someone who has a physical brick and mortar business, okay? But before we take a look at the four most common pricing strategies, which we're going to get to right after this, you need to make sure that you include in your considerations and calculations overhead cost. Every business has what's known as overhead cost. If you're in the bookkeeping and accounting space and you don't know what overhead is, please talk to Joe. Okay, because you should understand this. If you don't, I'm going to go through it anyway very quickly. Okay, but there are costs that aren't directly related to providing the product or service, but they still need to be paid. That's basically what overhead is. They differ for every business, but they always need to be factored into your pricing. Okay, overhead costs might include things like the cost to rent an office space, your business license and permits, utilities and telephone costs, the cost of office equipment and furniture, stationery and office supplies, marketing and advertising costs, the cost of software and online services that you use. Joe, any of those look familiar to you? Every one of those things go into running your business, do they not?
Well, when I was in the
Except for
US,
stationery, maybe.
when I was
Yeah.
in the US, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So all these costs have to be paid whether you're making a sale or not, but you still have to recover them from your sale. Right. So it's a good idea to have a clear understanding of what it costs to run your business before you ever make a sale. And again, this might not be for you. You may be working remotely in your own home. Okay. But you may have a client who's going to ask you about this stuff. Okay. So here's the thing. I want to talk to you about cost plus pricing. It's a lot more simple than it sounds, but you need to take this into account when you come up with your own pricing. Cost plus pricing in its simplest way is just it's a way to price your services. You calculate the direct cost of the things that we just spoke about, your fixed cost and your overhead cost and your indirect cost, and what markup do you want to charge on your service? So if a sandwich costs 100 whatever dollar sign, whatever that is, 100 pesos or 100 yen or whatever it is, and you want to do a 50% margin, you're going to mark it up by 50%. That's it. That's cost plus pricing. Okay. You have to take into account everything that goes into it. So think about, everyone knows McDonald's, right? What goes into the price of selling a hamburger? It's all those items that you see there in the burger, but guess what else it is? It's the electricity to run the store. It's the labor. It's the paper that the hamburger goes into. Okay, it's all of those little things. And then, okay, we want to make a 15% margin on it. We're going to add that onto the hamburger. Okay. So if you're providing a painting service, or you have a client providing, like you have a house painter, you'd calculate all the materials and the paint that they need to use. Then you add in some pre-calculated portion of the overhead cost plus the direct labor cost, and you add up the markup, and that's the result. It's really quite simple. Okay. It's important to note that though, these fixed costs and the overhead costs can get they can get a little tricky if you have more than one crew, right? Or more than one team working on projects. Okay. So it can get a little bit tricky. I'm just trying to keep it simple for you right now. So if you have 4 painting crews working for you, for instance, each one of them is going to have a quarter of the fixed cost, the direct labor cost and the material cost. Okay. It does make it a little bit more complicated, but you can handle it. And if you ever have a question on it, I know someone that's on this call who is very smart. His name happens to be Joe DeChara. You can always ask him. Okay. Now, here are the 4 major pricing strategies for service businesses. And this is where I want you to really pay attention for a second, okay? And we're making good progress through this. So it's time to take a closer look at these pricing models that you could use for your business. Before I start sharing these, it's worth noting at this point that you don't always have to choose just one of these 4 pricing models, okay? Sometimes companies offer vastly different types of services to different types of consumers, different types of clients, right? Or they might choose to price below a certain value using one method and above value for another method. You guys have probably all heard about Walmart, right? Big behemoth. Or no, here's a better one. Costco is like one of those big discount stores, right? They have one product they know they're going to lose money on. Do you know what this is, Joe, that gets people in the doors?
Milk.
Nope. Rotisserie chickens.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, right. They lose money on those, but it gets them in the store. So they're pricing it below a certain value because they know it's going to get people in the store. McDonald's does the same thing. Okay. They have some items that they price low and others they price high. Take a guess, a wild guess at what the biggest margined, most profitable item is at McDonald's, Joe. Think about their entire menu.
Sorry, what's the question, Larry?
What item has the biggest profit margin on the McDonald's menu? And anyone else can take a guess. Put it in the chat if you want.
French fries. French fries.
Okay, so think about that. You have potatoes, you have oil, right? You have labor. That's not right. Not the burger. Close. Whoever said soda, I saw that scrolled by quickly. Iced tea. Iced tea is their biggest margin. It's water and dried tea. That's it. There's no carbonation, right? There's no sugar. There's no nothing, right? So they sell a lot of iced tea, by the way, right? So this is a business where they sell some items where they know they're going to lose money and others where they make money. So like Happy Meals, for instance, in the old days, they used to lose money on Happy Meals. Well, why would they do that? Why would they be knowingly lose money on a specific product? Because no 4-year-old is going to McDonald's by themselves. Okay. they're going in with their parents or a guardian or a grandparent, and they're going to make money from them. So think about this when you're pricing your services. Are there things that will get your consumer in the door? We call it a hook, and then you sell other services them. Okay. So you just need to think about it. It's your company. It's entirely up to you. The only hard and fast rule here is that you need to make sure that you're making a profit at the end of the day, that you price your services so that your customers, so that your clients are willing to buy them. And then just adjust and tweak these things as necessary. Make sure that you review your pricing and profits on a regular basis. You'd be surprised how many coaching clients I get when I say, when's the last time you raised your prices? And they say 5 years ago. Is there anything in your world that costs the same today as it did 5 years ago? No. Okay, so be sure to visit this stuff on a regular basis, okay? So here is the first one of the 4 major pricing models, hourly rates. Okay, you can price services based on hourly rate. It's a very simple way to work out pricing. You can always be sure that you're being compensated for the time you spend working on a customer's project. Okay, this type of pricing works really well when there's no material cost to factor into the equation. But I want you to be warned on this, though. Many customers will expect in their head, they'll have an estimate of how many hours a job is going to take. And while small fluctuations are expected, right, big differences might be, they might bring some contention, or you're gonna have to at least offer an explanation, right? So if there are any changes or any what's called scope creep along the way, like you get into a project, you say it's going to take 5 hours, but it ends up taking 14 hours, you're going to have to make sure that you're communicating that. Don't wait till the 14 hours. When you get to the 5-hour mark, you want to give the client an update on how you're doing on these things, okay? Be very proactive when it comes to hourly pricing for your clients. Number 2 is what many of you know about, and this is retainers, right? Retainers are a great way to price service strategy businesses. I mean, a great strategy to use when pricing service-based businesses. I had the words there. They were scrambled in my head. These are really easy for your customers and your clients to manage in their own head. And these retainers guarantee you a certain amount of revenue each month. Okay. So lawyers, think about lawyers or other professionals. They often use retainers to price their services for customers that include a maximum number of hours in their contract. They'll say, hey, it's going to cost you a minimum of $2,500 a month, and we'll give you X number of hours. Beyond that, we're going to bill at an hourly rate. Okay, any additional time or work is priced at the hourly rate. In some cases, when clients sign a contract for a retainer, then when they sign the contract, all that stuff is identified in the contract. And since retainers mean guaranteed minimums for each client every month, it becomes a lot easier for you as the business owner, you as a service provider, to plan and manage your overhead. Okay. The third thing is flat fees or lumps. It's called flat fees or lump sum pricing. Okay. A flat fee or lump sum pricing is just that price that's based on the entire job, all right, at a single one-time fee. Okay. Entire job, single fee. So for instance, you might quote a client to build an entire website, or you might have a client who builds fences. Okay. And they say, we're going to do a whole backyard fence for you for this price. Okay. This type of pricing is a little bit easier to calculate since you just add everything together and then you add your markup. But if there are changes, it's called a change order, or additions along the way, you might end up doing more than, or get more than you bargained for. Okay. Because now you got to go to the client and say, hey, I know we talked about a flat fee, but because there's these changes, I've got to add on some additional expenses. So for instance, you might specify a website maximum is going to be 5 pages. Okay. I'll build a website for you, but it's going to be no more than 5 pages. Or that fence builder, I'm going to give you this price, but it's only for 200 feet of fence. If we go to 250, it's going to cost you more. Okay. Does that make sense? I'm going to go back and read some of these comments here later on. So if you're making comments, don't sweat. I will get to them. Okay. The fourth major pricing strategy that you may want to consider is called variable pricing. Variable pricing could apply to any of these previously typed pricing strategies that I've already talked about. Okay. There's variable hourly pricing, could be a discounted hourly rate for a certain quantity of work when it goes over 5 hours, say, or whatever the number of hours is. Retainer clients might also get a discount rate if they book above a certain amount of work per month. And the lump sum clients might pay less for bigger projects. Okay. This is usually at your discretion or the business owner's discretion. Okay. But some companies have very strict guidelines on this, like the bigger companies. So they might have one rate for any work under a predetermined number of hours or value, and it might be a different rate for anything above that. It's best, though, to be consistent. One of the sayings I know some of you have heard me say when I've been there at the Jumpstart is confused minds don't buy. So keep it simple, make it easily understandable. Okay. But some companies are going to get around this problem, this variable pricing, by offering quarterly rebates and that type of thing. So clients all pay the same rate up front, but if they meet this predetermined target, then that particular client might get a rebate check. Okay. This is a pretty interesting strategy because it encourages clients to spend more money. Okay. And we're getting near the end here, and I'm going to tell you this. No one size fits all when it comes to pricing. Okay. I thought that was a cute picture. It made me chuckle when I found it. But here's what we need to do. Here are some strategies to consider. Number one is you have to figure out the market you want to cater to, ranging from accessible or affluent. Okay, we talked about that a little bit earlier, right? If you're offering luxury products or luxury services, you can charge more. So I would be asking myself, if I were in a service-based business, like an accountant, is there a luxury element to this that I could offer where I can charge more? I can tell you, years ago, I had an attorney who I couldn't afford a lot, right? And there's a TV show some of you may have seen called Better Call Sal. Was that it? It was about an attorney, and he had this really, what's that?
Saul, Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. That's what it was. And he had this really crappy attorney's office in this strip mall. Well, that was basically the attorney that I had, right? Bargain basement pricing. Okay. But then there are some attorneys, you go into a Class A office space, you go in an elevator up to the 30th floor, you got these big expansive views. As soon as you walk in, they have sparkling water or coffee for you. So you're paying a more luxurious price. I see someone put in nail salons. Yes, there are some nail salons that you walk in and you're afraid if I actually get my nails done here, I may walk out with some fungus, right? But if you walk into a place that's nicely designed, right? The amount of time that it takes for the person who's providing the service, whether it's a clean salon or a dirty salon, it's the same, right? But if you offer this clean place and you offer a little bit of tea when the client comes in, that's the difference between accessible and affluent. Your pricing would be different, right? So see what your competitors are charging in the market. Okay, that's the second thing. What's your competitor pricing? This is where competitive set analysis comes in. They'll most likely not be too keen on you actually calling them and saying, hey, this is Sally. I own a nail salon down the street. What's your pricing? They're probably not going to be too happy to offer that to you. But you can always have a friend or an associate go by and get the pricing. Okay. Number three, insert yourself into the market. Like just start getting in there and start putting your price point in the hands of potential clients. If you say, hey, my service is going to cost blank, and you get zero pushback and you have tons of buyers, what does that tell you? It means that you probably price yourself too low. If you go to that same price point and you go to the market and you have 0 buyers, chances are your price is too high in the market at that time. Okay. And number 4 is this: you have to be comfortable. If you're not comfortable saying your prices to a potential client, these clients are going to feel like a shark that smells blood in the water and they're going to pounce. Okay. You've got to be really comfortable with it, saying, hey, I've gone through all the certification. I've taken every course that Jumpstart has to offer. I've got blank number of years in the industry. I've dealt with X number of clients. I've got great reviews and testimonials from people. People tell me that I'm good at what I do. Okay. And if you need help getting comfortable, talk to some of your friends. Talk to Joe. Talk to a mentor that you're with. Okay. Okay. And now we're about to wrap up here. So how do you price your services? Well, pick a comfortable price and stick with it. Stick with it long enough to find out, does it work or not? Don't be changing it every week, right? But pick a comfortable price and stick with it. Next one. Don't think there's going to be some magic pricing formula out there. It just doesn't exist. Okay. You've got to try it. You've got to get out and try it. Next thing, set your prices the way that makes the most financial sense for you. Confused minds don't buy. Make it simple. The people who might be more sophisticated may be able to handle a tiered pricing strategy for accounting or bookkeeping services or enrolled agent services, where someone who all they need is a really quick tax return. They may not be able to handle that. Okay. And then once you identify what it is, just no apologies. Okay. You're the one that gets to go out into the world and say, this is how much my time cost. Be bold with it. Okay. So free tools, and then we're going to be done. You made it this far. Take out your phone. There's a QR code, or do a screenshot of this slide, or go to victoryandlifeinbusiness.com/package1. And here's what I'm going to give you. Okay. There's an explainer video on each one of these. Watch the video first. These will take you to a Google Drive. Okay. You're going to get 6 steps to navigating difficult conversations. How many of you have ever had to have a difficult conversation? Let's say it's a difficult conversation with a loved one, or a client, or a coworker, or a boss. Am I the only one who's ever had to do that? How many of you have had to have difficult conversations? If you have had to have difficult conversations, or you feel like a difficult conversation is coming your way, this will be a tool for you. The second thing is going to be how to gather intel. Okay. This is how you're going to do your competitive set analysis. You're going to look at the people that are in your same business, same industry, and you're going to figure out, we're going to show you how to do a competitive set analysis. Again, watch the video first, because we go through the tool and then go to the tool. And then the third thing is this, your unique selling proposition. If you know what makes you different, I think I shared this with some of the folks at the Jumpstart the last time I was there in the Philippines. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't remember. Anyway, you can never have this tool more than once, right? I mean, you can have, yes, it's a great tool. Identify your unique selling proposition. What makes you different? Okay. So there's a QR code. You can screenshot this thing. You can type in victoryandlifeinbusiness.com/package1, and you can get those free tools there. Again, there's my QR code if you just want to reach out to me via social media or email and you have a question for me, there it is. So with all that said, that was a lot of information. If you've got any questions now, or we can go through the, Joe, you're going to start the iced tea business. We can go through some of the questions that have come up. Oh, actually, there's fewer than I thought. Okay, let's see here. The law of supply and demand. Yes, Luz, we did talk about that. Biggest cost is your time. Very often it is. Most business it is. Luz says, I worked at a fast food chain before, and I remember how we could take just 1 can of big pineapple juice and make around 10 drinks out of it. Yep. The markup is 5 times the income of the cost. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That happens all the time, Luz. You're absolutely right. Okay, Joe, thoughts, comments, suggestions? Coach
Yes.
Jan, thing you think
Hi,
we need to
yeah.
talk about? Okay.
Yeah, again, most interesting topic for the year. Again, this is the most commonly asked because most of the newbies, how frequently asked question is how much do you charge on these services? It's very hard. You mentioned it's not, it doesn't fit at all. So
Yeah.
me, before Joe knows that now if I have someone talk to me, I always say $10 per hour. Meaning you have already computed include I love the presentation of Larry for the plus pricing because it is very accountant approach, right? Direct cost and
Right.
direct. That sometimes the people here are tend to forget. You should ask, of course, with all boys, what is your why and what is your uh comfort living in the Philippines. This is, I think, also Nick mentioned that your charging is not charging from the US, Australia, Canada. You just have to base your price on the
Yeah.
Philippines. What do you think is comfortable with you? And add some costs because of the utilities, the internet, of course,
Yeah.
the soap for taking a
Right. All
bath,
of it.
whatever it is. But this is it. This is really valuable lesson for all of us. And I hope many people can watch this again to give
Good.
clarity on how to charge. Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah. Thanks, Marianne. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Larry, I have
No?
question.
Yeah. I don't know who that is. I just hear a voice.
Luz.
Hey, Luz.
Yeah, I have
Liz,
question. If
can you
both
hold on? Liz, can you hold on 1 second?
okay.
Because I just want to, say what I seem to have to say every webinar that we have. You have Larry Broughton here. Okay, and if you're here and you don't have questions for him, you must already know everything. Okay, so and this is and I understand, so put your questions in the chat. I'm gonna let Luz ask her question, and then I'm gonna make some points, and I have some questions for Larry. Okay, go ahead, Luz.
Larry, the topic for today is you're teaching us how to do the pricing. But my question is, when can we know when is the right time we increase our pricing? Because with Joe in Bedrock, we told him many times to increase our CFO because we're charging very cheap. And another question, it's for my work related question, and for personal, my husband, he has already a clinic, and now he's asking me to increase the price, and I think it's too early. So they are different. Joe, we're forcing him to increase the rate because the rate is really low and very for a long time. That's his rate, and for my husband it's only 3 months and he wants me to increase already. So
Okay.
it's the
Yep.
right time to increase the
Yeah.
price.
So I think I've got it, but let me go through a few different scenarios here, okay? Someone earlier, maybe it was Coach Jan, who said you need to know your why, okay? For instance, Joe and I have talked about this. I've talked about this with my business partner. I've talked about this with many of my coaching clients. If, let's say, for instance, you're a service-based business and you just want to get a ton of clients, okay? You want to have a community. You want to do your pricing where there's so very low barriers that people, particularly if it's what's called a monthly recurring revenue, they charge every month. You want it to be so low that they think it is stupid for me not to do this, right? So that's different, okay? Now, regarding Joe or someone like Joe, depending on the service or the product, I would say you need to be reviewing your pricing at least annually, at a minimum annually, okay? This is for a service-based business, different than products, okay? But product pricing sometimes affects service pricing. Think about this. A coffee shop. Coffee shops have a lot going against them because basically they're in a commodities-based business, okay? The price of milk and coffee beans can fluctuate wildly month to month, depending on natural disasters, droughts, supply chain problems, right? And so you could have a latte. What is a latte? Coffee beans, espresso beans, and some form of milk and steam and labor in a cup, right? But the hard price that goes into that could fluctuate 200% in 1 month. So you do have to look at that, okay? But I would say generally for a service-based business, I would review it at least annually, probably not more than every 6 months. And then I would go out and let everyone know that you're going to be increasing your prices. Your husband needs to determine, do I increase my prices on my current clients or just on new clients? Did you catch that? Because your new clients, you may want to what's called grandfather them in on your current pricing for an additional 6 months. You could go, and by the way, I'm a big believer in always notifying people in advance. So for your business, Luz, and Joe's business here, I would let them know at least 60 days in advance and say, hey, you know how the world works. Pricing is going up everywhere. Effective January 1, our pricing will be going up to new clients. However, since you've been a loyal client for the past 2 years, 1 year, we're not going to increase your pricing until what, June of next year. If you increase it at all, okay? Now, for your husband's business, it's a cleaning business, did you say?
He's a doctor.
Oh, he's
It's
a
a
doctor. Yeah. Yeah. I would think that I don't think it's bad to increase it in 3 months if there's the demand. It's a highly skilled, required, important task, right? Now, again, do you charge your current patients? You increase those? I'm a little bit less inclined to increase those prices so soon. But either way, let's again use Joe's business. If you increase your prices by 10%, just 10%, and you lose 10% of your current clients because it's just too costly, what did you just do? You opened up your calendar to take on those 10% of clients that left. Now you've got time to bring in new clients, all paying 10% more. Does that make sense? And so you're going to make more money doing that. So we shouldn't be afraid to lose some of our clients. Okay?
We're still
Does that
trying
make sense, Luz?
Yeah, thank you, Larry. We're
Yeah.
still trying to convince Joe to increase our CFO for
And
our
not, and
new
not,
clients because it's
and
huge.
she's so bold, Joe. She's doing it publicly. She's shaming you publicly.
Well, no. So I'm
I'm
glad she
kidding.
brought it up.
Uh-huh.
And it's a good discussion to have. And it goes back to what you said. When I started Bedrock, I had this market of 26 million sole proprietors, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
probably 99.5% of them don't hire an accountant.
Yes.
And the reason is because we're too expensive. So I started
You're perceived to be too expensive.
right, perceived, and you know the whole thing with supply and demand. Lose
Right.
put in the chat.
Yeah.
There's not enough accountants. So
Yeah.
when I discovered this market, I said, how do I get them on board with me? And I
Yeah.
said, I got to do what John Limbacher calls the irresistible offer.
That's right.
I had to make the price so low that they just said, I'd be stupid not to do this.
That's
And
right.
we actually started at $47 a month. And
Right.
it worked. I had people that I knew for years that didn't hire me. And when I told them what the price was, they were like, I'd be stupid not to sign up.
Well, yeah,
But
because it's like that Costco rotisserie chicken, right? You get them in the door with the $47 for the monthly accounting stuff, and then you can upsell services from there.
yeah, and the truth is our model is profitable because we make it on the tax returns.
That's my point.
That's where our profit is. as the business developed and I understood this, students it turned out, were afraid to refer clients to us. And I wasn't aware of this because even we raised it to 57 a month. It was less than what they were charging for bookkeeping.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
said, well, we got to. So what we did, Larry, is, and this is we not so much raising the price. I'm still keeping it at 57 a month for brand new businesses
Okay.
that have basically no transactions to begin with. But what
Yes.
we're doing with established businesses is we're not doing the bookkeeping.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
it's tax plan. So now what we're telling new clients is you need to have a bookkeeper, and if you don't have one, we can provide one for you.
Yes. Yep. Good.
Does
Good.
that make sense?
Yep. Absolutely. Hey, Jane, I
So
love your question. She says,
yeah,
can we also charge or bill the client like a work in progress basis instead of a lump sum basis? You can absolutely do that. I do that in my hotel business where I do, it's called pre-opening services. Let's say that we're going to open a hotel that's new construction. I need to be paid. And so I say all those services I provide between the time that we buy the property, buy the land, build the hotel. There's no revenue coming in, right? I still need to make money. If I say it's going to cost blank number of dollars, I get 40% when we sign the agreement, but it's called, like you said, progress payments or thresholds. Then once we accomplish X, Y, Z, P, D, and Q, then there's another payment or time one. And then upon completion, we're going to do the third payment. I love these types of structures because it incentivizes you, Jane, to get things done. Right? And you've agreed in advance, here's the scope of work. Okay? I love these. Yes. Good question. Does that answer your question, Jane? Okay. I see a head nod. Okay, good.
yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Joe, do you
that's
want to add to
that.
that?
Yeah, well, when we do get people that haven't filed, believe it or not, in like 5 years. So we'll do something like this. And yeah, sometimes a lot of people that come to us have financial problems. That's why they haven't filed. So
Yeah.
I'll put them on a payment plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it when people ask for permission to leave. Yes, Elsie, you have permission to leave. But this topic is so important because it can make you or break you. But I have a question, and you could put the answer in the chat. How many people here are just starting out and have no clients, and you really this is a question for you because you don't know what to charge. And I'll tell you what I did before I started my first business. I was actually selling insurance and I needed insurance clients. So I put an ad in a newspaper to do tax returns for $35, no matter how complicated they were. I would go to people's houses. Okay, Melody. I would go to people's houses and do their returns. And I got a lot of clients. I didn't sell any insurance. But I got a lot of clients because the
Wow.
price was, people would say, is there a catch to this? And I would say
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So I decided, I wasn't going to make any money selling insurance. So I stopped selling insurance, but I had I must have had, let's say 100 clients paying me $35. And I was like, I'm not going to make any money. Like,
Yeah.
so, but at that time, I had enough business, enough real business so I could open my office. So I took all of those
Yeah.
$35 a year clients and I raised them to like 200. And I said, okay, so I'm going to lose a lot of these clients.
Yeah.
It's okay. I didn't lose one.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
I,
If you build
and so,
trust and loyalty with people, they don't want to switch to someone else.
well, that's what I learned. That's
Yeah.
what, So I was happy that I didn't lose. And then I said, oh my God, I was doing those returns for dirt cheap for all that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I could have raised it. So it was a lesson. It was a
Yeah.
lesson. But so for Melody, you know, what I tell people that are just starting out, you got to get clients.
Yes.
So it's okay, I think, to start like even below market just to get, you know, because I remember when I started getting clients, I was like, oh my God, I'm actually getting clients. What do you
Yeah.
think about it?
Yeah. Well, just be careful that you're not losing money on each one, because, I've seen people do that too. They price it so low that they get resentful. I always believe, build a business that you don't get resentful of. And if you're losing money in the beginning, you're going to get resentful of your business. And so I would encourage you, depending on the business, you may want to go and say, hey, I've just launched my own business. And so I'm getting in I'm offering some, what do you call it? Promotional pricing, for the next 6 months. Would love to get a handful of clients in who are my base business. And I'd love for you to be like making an invitation, right? And you're going to be, one of my early clients. And so because I'm going to give you better pricing than I'm going to be charging 6 months from now.
You're letting them know that, listen, I'm giving you below market pricing. So you're not a commodity. And you mentioned that don't be the lowest,
Yeah.
right? But you're
Yeah.
letting them know, listen, you're not getting substandard services. You're getting quality top-notch services at a ridiculous price.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it.
So, what else did I want to say? You know, about 10 years ago, I remember, because a lot of times in a service business, and that's what's like, what your costs are,
You
right?
should. You should.
Well, so here, but in a service business, so when I was going out there doing a lot of QuickBooks calls, I would ask the owner, how much are you paying to do your books? And their answer was nothing, because they were doing it. Okay. So my answer was, so your time is worth nothing.
Right.
And my point was, you're the owner of the business.
Yeah.
That's a big, because now you're spending time instead of, fixing cars, you're doing bookkeeping. Does
That's
that
right.
make any sense?
Oh, it makes total
So
sense. And there might be some follow-up questions. Okay, so you're the one doing the bookkeeping. Are they done timely, and are they done efficiently? Are they done accurately? Right? How important would
yeah,
it be for you to have your financial statements to you by the 5th or the 10th of each month, and they're done accurately? Right? This is all part of the
right.
sales process. But yes, I think that's a really good point, Joe. Every hour that
Yeah.
that a business owner is spending on accounting and bookkeeping is an hour that they're not spending driving revenue and what they're supposed to be really good at.
Yeah. And you know what, Larry? It amazes me. First, we've been working for years now, and it doesn't. Every time we talk about something, I still walk away with. So you're
Oh,
still
good.
bringing value. Your job is still intact with me.
Thank you, Joe.
But when I'm listening to this is something that I've never done for my clients, but we should, and that's
This is
helping
where the
them
value
price.
comes in.
Yeah. I'm like, so when I start meeting with my clients now, I'm going to say, so how are you pricing your services?
Right. That's
And
right.
this is something where an accountant is definitely, we're in the position, and I'm doing this 40 years, and I've never seen accountants offer this as a service.
Yeah. So this is where everyone on this call, you need to consider yourself to be a trusted advisor of the business owner. Okay. And you become a trusted advisor by offering value before they ask for it. Be proactive.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to
Hey,
send
I
an
noticed,
email to our
think about
clients.
this. let's say that you're doing regular bookkeeping and you notice that there is a product or service that they buy every month or every quarter, and all of a sudden that invoice comes through and it's 25% higher this month than before. Don't just put it in the general ledger and don't ask the question. I would flag it and say, hey, business owner, I noticed that this price, this bumped up. Are you aware of this? Because they may have an employee who's stealing from them and they're not even aware of it. Okay. Or if you notice cash flow is dropping off, or you notice you're going into a low season and they don't have the same amount of money in the bank that they normally do going from one season to the next. Be proactive. Consider yourself to be a trusted advisor.
You know, I think another problem is that, you know, we don't put enough value on our own time. And you know, I started to talk about 10 years ago, I was trying to partner with this accountant. And what I found out was the guy was terrible. He didn't, I was like, where did you learn how to do accounting? And he was charging people $250 an hour.
Okay.
And I looked at him and I didn't say this to him.
As
I
an
said,
accountant, not as a CPA, but as an accountant.
no, he's a CPA.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
And I said, if he's charging $250 an hour, I should be charging $500 an hour. So I
Yeah.
raised my hourly rate to $375. Now, I don't normally charge people by the hour, but when they would ask me, I would say I charge $375 an hour. And if they said anything about it, I said, I'm better than most of the other people out there. If you could get somebody for less, but they're not going to do what I can do. And that's the truth. You
Well,
know?
additionally, Joe, I don't think it's a bad thing to have a hourly rate. Like if you're trying to go with a retainer or a flat fee or any other pricing schedule, their hourly rate is so much that when you tell them what your flat fee is, they think it's a huge value.
Yes.
That makes sense.
So I know a lot of people, like when I met Marianne, she was actually interviewing with us. And she told us, she said, I don't know if you remember this, Marianne, but she said, listen, I just took on a client for $3 an hour. And the reason why I did that was just to get the work.
Yeah.
Just to get the work. So, you know, I remember that, Marianne, because what Elizabeth and I said was, wow, she's really honest, you know, for you to come to us and say, because she's looking for a job, it was like, let's offer her $3 an hour. But that's not what we did. That's not what we did. But for people that are in Marianne, where Marianne was, that are going for, you know, positions, and how would they go out and price themselves so that they're not like, because for an accountant, a Philippine accountant who started $3 an hour, like that's way below what they should be getting.
Yeah, I agree that that's low, but this is why I offer this competitive set analysis. See what other people are charging, okay, based on their experience, okay? Sometimes, as you said, if you're not very experienced, you need to price yourself accordingly, because let's say that Marianne were to be charging $100 an hour, not $3 an hour. People are going to be hiring her and expecting $100 an hour type of experience and expertise and counsel, right? But if you don't have the experience, you can't offer it. And then word's going to go out very quickly. Do not hire Marianne. Marianne, I'm not suggesting this. Don't hire that person because they're overpriced and they don't know what the heck they're doing. So it's like another area, Joe, is you've heard us talk about this. Let's say that you want to become a keynote speaker, right? And keynote speakers can make, I'm going to use US dollars, okay? Keynote speakers can make zero, or they can make $100,000 for one keynote speech, right? That's a lot of money. Let's say that's a president, right? Is going to go out and make that kind of money. But let's say a good world-class corporate speaker is going to earn $20,000 for a 1-hour keynote speech. If I've only done 2 keynote speeches and I charge $20,000 and I get on stage and I bomb and I offer no value, that is not going to be good. So in the beginning, you go in and intentionally, I want to get 100 speeches first. I'm not going to charge anything. I just want the experience being on stage, thinking on my feet, right? And then you start charging. So is $3 too low? $3 is probably too low to start with, but I wouldn't be charging $30, or $50 out of the gate. Be honest with yourself. Okay. This is where we were talking earlier. You have to have a level of comfort, right? Like
Nick,
I do a lot of keynote speeches. I wouldn't be comfortable charging $100,000 to go do a keynote speech, because I just don't have that kind of, am I good? Yes, I'm good. Am I better than good? Yes, I'm better than good at it. But I don't have the celebrity draw to charge that kind of money. Does that make sense?
I can
yeah.
answer the sharing of Joe. Yeah, that's true. When I started 2021, that's the norm. Again, Larry is right. You have to check the market. That time, I'm seeing $3. So on that level of my confidence that time, I have to test the water. So I know
Right.
I can do more, but I don't have the confidence that time. And you're right that if you charge, you have to deliver. Now I can say I am $500 per hour, but the question is, can you deliver that to the client? And the client will expect you deliver the way they pay you. So you always have to be comfortable on when you say $10 per hour. My happy rate is $10 per hour. And if the client will question you, you're too high. So meaning that's not your right client because you know your worth and then you can know Joe knows this, right? So know your ideal client. From that time, from 3, increase of 5, 7, and 8. And then sometimes I've experienced this one, Larry and Joe, when I'm a freelancer, when you say I can only offer $8 per hour. And then I will say to the client, oh, okay, in case, yeah, I will accept $8 per hour, but just in case you will be onboarded me as your bookkeeper, I can see on your finances if you're really earning and I can charge more, right? So then the client will laugh because I'm in the finance. So you can tweak your approach in a way that the client will say yes to you in that time to get your services. So thank you for sharing that because this is again the most frequently asked question. $3 now
Yeah,
is too
and
low. Now
I
$5.
know. I also like what you told me was a couple of months ago when you had a client with TaskWise and you told them it was $10 an hour and they said it was too high. And you said, okay, that's what we charge. And then they came back to you. Well, I think what you told them was, okay, go out there and try to find somebody for less. That's fine.
Yeah.
And they came back to you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Be willing to let them walk away.
Meaning that's not
Right.
the right client.
If you've done your homework, if you can really present a quality service, be confident. That's what I said. Don't apologize. But you've got to do your homework. You got to do the competitive set analysis. You need to know what's your unique selling proposition. Got to do some intel. Yeah. Okay. Good.
And one last sharing. This is now I've realized when you're talking about because again we're on the finance. So pricing also consider also, for example, I'll just have a business. Consider also the pricing. Maybe you can take out some of the unnecessary expenses. You know what I mean? So you're asking to ask the price, but you didn't review all the unnecessary costs on the previous years. So, and then Joe is right. You can, now pero kami nang iniisip ni Joe, Tagalog, hirapan ako. We're both at the same thinking with Joe that you can add your skills right now. You can add to the client, you know what? I can give you a strategy on how to increase our prices. Do you want to listen? And then just present the way Larry say it, and the client will be happy to hear it from you, right?
Good.
Yeah. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you again, Larry. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Thank you
My
so much,
pleasure.
Larry. Another
Yeah.
value lesson. Yeah, so for those of you who's here, again, I hope this is not the first time you attend. For those newbies and for those who didn't attend, kindly encourage them to attend because again, Larry Broughton is here to help us. Joe with the Bedrock team in our community Jumpstart is willing to help you to really have the clarity and the questions you're looking for is already here. Own experience, strategies and all resources. Larry already gave us the resources. I actually already subscribed. So if I were you, take the opportunities of being here every Saturday, 9 a.m. Make it a habit and encourage on your community friends to come and join us. All right. I think we have some few announcements. Ellen?
I have, I
Go.
do have an announcement since we're on the pricing strategy. We've been offering these Saturday workshops to the whole community, whether you're a premium member or a free member. Starting November 1st, it's going to be limited to the premium members. And the price to be a premium member has been $18. And we've been going back and forth. Larry's a big part of this community. And what we want to build the Jumpstart community. We want this to be big. And so we've decided to make the premium membership only $3 a month. Okay, so it's what we call that irresistible offer.
Right.
We can't, doing this for free has been, just to build that momentum to show you all that we're serious about this. We have Larry here every month. We get people like Jack Cantos and Kat Fernandez every week. I don't know about all of you, but every week I walk away with stuff. Just from two speakers, I could tell you that we have reduced our operating costs by over $800 a month because they mentioned how they're running their business. They're using software that I wasn't aware of, and I took that info. So think about that. 800. That's almost $10,000 a year that I'm saving. That's a pretty substantial amount. Yeah. And just what I just learned from Larry about, we're going to actively offer this pricing strategy to clients. No extra charge. It's just more value. So I hope that, all of you see the value that we're bringing in that, and that you sign up starting November 1st. We have Eileen put the link in the chat. So you have a couple of weeks now. It's going to start, November 1st. So I hope you all join. And do we have any other announcements? We have a couple of
videos. Yeah, can you play the videos, guys? Yeah, I think we have.
Welcome to the Jumpstart Your Freelance Accounting Career Community, a vibrant network dedicated to empowering professionals who aspire to work from home and build successful freelance careers. Our community is designed for accountants and bookkeepers across the Philippines, offering a supportive environment where members can share insights, resources, and experiences. We believe in the power of collaboration and continuous learning, providing access to valuable tools, resources, and expert advice that will help you thrive in the freelance landscape. Whether you're just starting out or looking to enhance your skills, our community is here to guide you every step of the way. Benefits of joining Jumpstart Your Freelance Accounting Career Community. Essential tools and resources. Gain access to curated productivity tools and resources tailored for accountants and bookkeepers. Flexible work environment. Embrace the freedom of working from home with guidance on setting up your workspace for maximum productivity. Freelancing basics. Learn how to kickstart your freelance career with tips on client acquisition, proposal writing, and effective communication. Pathway to CPA. Explore opportunities and resources to pursue your CPA designation while balancing your freelance work. CFO skill development. Enhance your financial management skills to market yourself as a chief financial officer for small businesses. U.S. tax preparation services. Discover how to offer specialized services like U.S. tax preparation, expanding your client base internationally. Build your own tax agency. Get insights into establishing your own U.S. tax agency, including marketing strategies and operational best practices. This community is not just a network, it's a launchpad for your freelance journey. Join us to connect with like-minded professionals, share knowledge, and unlock new opportunities in the accounting and bookkeeping fields.
All right. Again, thank you so much. Again, please share these wonderful opportunities. Again, once again, thank you so much, Larry, and of course, Joe and Bedrock team for organizing this event, of course, and giving value to their community. Again, let's have a picture and then we can have a good weekend. Pictures, anyone from I think Larry left, right?
Yes, please open up your camera. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please share
All
this
right, everyone.
picture to everyone, to the community and LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Happy weekend.
All right, have a great weekend, everyone.